Welcome to the MSDW podcast. I'm Jason Gumpert, editor at MS Dynamics World. On this episode, we are talking about strong partnerships in the Microsoft Dynamics ecosystem. My guests, Tim Teeter of Yooz and Trish Boccuti of Innovia, talk about how their organizations have found ways to build a strong partnership through a focus on customer needs, business alignment, and growth. Yooz is the sponsor of this episode, and my guests share how their teams connected, how they have set priorities together, and some of their achievements so far. As a Microsoft reseller with expertise in deploying Dynamics 365 solutions, Innovia has its own strategic goals around verticals, dynamic sales, and customer success that Trish tells us a little bit about. And with their focus on AP and invoice automation, Yooz has a range of initiatives focused on their work with Dynamics customers and partners, which we hear about from Tim. We also discuss some of the upcoming plans for the Yooz team on MSDW and their new YoozProtect solution. All right, I am here with Trish and Tim. Welcome to both of you. I'd like to maybe just start with some introductions for our listeners. Tim, welcome to the podcast. Can you tell us a little about yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Jason. How much time do you have? I'll start there. I've had a long and winding road when it comes to just my path to Yooz. I call myself a recovering accountant. My undergraduate work was in accounting. I was in an audit capacity for a little while. But in the late 90s, early 2000s is when I really started to get into the enterprise resource or the ERP side of the business. I was an implementation consultant for a while with the Oracle platform. I've worked in Epicor ecosystem for a handful of years as a product management on the product management side. And that's really when I was working at Epicor, that's when I really started to learn about the channel, embraced the channel, working with significant number of ISVs within the Epicor ecosystem, and started working in fintech and started working directly with these fintech ISVs from Avalara. And that's been my exposure starting out with Avalara. I actually went from Epicor directly to Avalara because they had such a very unique technology at the time. Nobody had ever heard of cloud-based tax technology. And based on my work with them, I just came to really enjoy working with businesses to help them solve their really complex problems that the enterprise resource planning system, regardless of what system you were working with, we solved a very complex problem for them that generally the ERPs don't touch or don't cover. And so from there, from Avalara, I moved over to the accounts receivable side of things, working with a company by the name of YayPay. And then not to miss out on working on the other side of the coin when it comes to the receivable side, I joined Yooz, which is the accounts payable automation. And so from there, all the way through my journey from working with Avalara to YayPay and Yooz, I worked with a ton of different channel solutions, both on the platform side, on the publisher side, and then also, and I think more importantly, working with a lot of the value-added resellers and the channel partners in the ecosystem, because that is just, in my opinion, the lifeblood of how an ERP community is supposed to work. So I said, how much time do you have? Hopefully that gives you an indication of my path from working with implementation and getting to understand and know the ERP ecosystem, all the way through to working with ISVs and ultimately into the channel.
All right, excellent. And a ton of experience there, hopefully, to pull on as we get going a little further here too in perspective. All right. And Trish, great to have you here. I feel like I know a lot about where you've been and what you've done, but can you tell our listeners and what it is you do these days?
Absolutely. Thanks, Jason. Trish Boccuti. I'm the Director of Customer Success at Innovia Consulting. We are a Business Central partner. We've been around for almost 40 years. But unlike Tim, I got my start with the Nava user group back in the day, the Dynamics Nav one. Kind of a funny story. They hired me to do marketing for them. And 3 weeks later, they said, instead, we need you to run this user group. And I didn't even know how to spell Nav. So it was kind of fun. But I learned, and here I am like 15 years later, still working with all the awesome partners in this channel. Prior to Innovia, I worked at a company called FastPath. We were a security and audit company. We started out in the dynamic space as well. And then we kind of like Tim went into SAP, Oracle, NetSuite, all of that good stuff. And when I left there, I really still loved the Microsoft channel. So I came back to Innovia.
All right. Well, great to have you both here. And I'm looking forward to getting into the discussion. Tim, you talked already about sort of your own path to Yooz. Can you talk a little bit about sort of the partnership program there and how it's been developed and sort of how that's going to maybe inform the rest of this conversation?
Thank you, Jason. That's a great question. And it's something that is really important to us just because we have a number of, I guess, if you look at our core values, we have a number of different core values that we like to align with our partners. We have in our ethos at Yooz is just our very customer-centric approach to things, working with our customers and getting our customers happy. And we have a very, very customer-first approach to the ecosystem. So just to make sure that our customers are happy and live and working with us. But we wouldn't have customers if we didn't have the partner ecosystem. So they really do go hand in hand. We tend to surround ourselves with partners that have the same approach to the channel, where they have a very customer-centric approach, leading with integrity and transparency. Having an open dialogue with the partner, I think, is extremely important. And we tend to focus on looking at partners and recruiting partners that have the same mindset and the same ethos to their core. We also want to make sure that our partners understand and our customers understand that we're looking for a certain subject matter expertise in the ecosystem. Not everybody is an expert in an ecosystem. We need to have partners that will work with us in tandem and in partnership to be able to support customers that are in that ecosystem. So hopefully that is the approach that our partners like to agree to as well. And hopefully those are the values that we like to seek and like to partner with.
Yeah, well, that kind of leads me to my next question, which was what you do look for in a partner and what kind of partners do match well.
Yeah, so that's a great segue question. We truly look for partners that want to work with us. We don't necessarily look for those partners that are transactional. We don't want to work with partners that are really out looking for just a transactional nature in our relationship. We want to grow with our partners. We want to make sure that our partners are of the same mindset, that we like to collaborate, build out integrations, build out net new product solutions. We like to collaborate with the partners as well as the customers. We are always listening to our partners and to our customers. And if you take a look at our product roadmap, a lot of what you see on the product roadmap is definitely related to things that we have come across within our ecosystem from listening to our customers and listening to our partners. So we want to work collaboratively. We want to seek out partners that have that same approach. And it's just much more of a partnership than it is a transaction. And I think that's the best way to leave it.
All right. So this is a good time, I think, Trish, to bring you back in. Can you tell us a little more about how Innovia became a Yooz partner?
Sure. Actually, one of our customers brought Yooz to us. They met them at a conference, saw a little bit about their product and really liked it. We love that because, there's a lot of new products in the marketplace. We try to be on top of all of them. So when the customer brought him to us, our team took a look at the product, thought it looked really great. We did a couple demos and then, the customer bought it. It gave us some exposure to Yooz. And they were really easy to work with right from the beginning. I really loved that they had some subject matter experts on their team. They could really help have a nice collaborative conversation with the customer. They had some great options we could implement. They could train us. They could implement. We obviously went with them implementing since we hadn't been trained yet. But it was really nice. It was a good process and the customer's really happy. So we're really excited to partner with them.
All right, great. Yeah, Tim, let me bring you back in. I mean, that sounds pretty good to me. Can you talk a little bit more about that experience? I think maybe starting with actually taking on some of those implementation duties.
Yeah. So as Trish mentioned, we have a number of different ways that we work with partners. And I'd love to hear the fact that we were easy to work with, Trish. That's one of the things that we tend to value a lot is the fact that we are hopefully very easy to work with our partner ecosystem. Part of the ease is the fact that we allow you to work with us at your own pace, right? So from that perspective, if you want to take on more ownership of either implementing or supporting your customers, we're very willing to work with you on that, get you trained, get you certified, get you up and running to be able to support the implementation of your customers, because obviously the customer means everything to you and it also means everything to us. And having that happy customer at the end of the day is of paramount importance. So we know that partners do want to take on the ownership of the cradle to grave approach to being able to sell, implement, and then support their customers. So we have that option, but we also have an option where if you just want to work with us more on a referral type of a basis, get your feet wet with Yooz, learn about how to work with us, get comfortable with us, we also do have that referral approach. So we tend to work at the pace of our own customer and with our own partners as well, and really allow them to grow with Yooz as fast as they really want to.
And Tim, let me jump in there too. One thing I'll say, you said it earlier, but we like to find partners that will truly partner with us. We don't want to just be a vendor and don't want them to be a vendor. And I do think that's where Yooz really excel too, is partnering with us and making sure everything worked out well. And one of the things, when there are so many partners out there, I always ask, how are you different than the other companies that we already work with? And Yooz did a really nice job explaining that to us. Me having a security and audit background, I love their new feature of the AI fraud detection. It's part of the product. So Tim, do you want to chat a little bit about that feature? Because I think it's very cool.
Yeah, we've come out with a number of different features recently, and I think this one to me is the most impactful, just because it is something that is now available to any and all customers. And it's, as you mentioned, it's a series of fraud prevention and security tools that is now available to every customer. It's on the platform. Nobody has to buy it, and it's really there to help thwart fraud attempts and reinforce the secure processes, just because the AP process within businesses is open, in many cases, open to a lot of fraud. And we've seen the stats. We understand that there's billions in assets that are lost to fraud. And so we took that to heart. We listened to our partners, we listened to our customers, and we put out this YoozProtect solution. And there are a couple of different pillars within YoozProtect. We have the ability to monitor changes in vendor details. And as you mentioned, Trish, a lot of it is AI driven, so that there's no human or user intervention involved in managing this or monitoring this, that we just have an employee that is working 24/7, 7 days a week, identifying if there are any changes that are happening in your vendors, that are any things that are happening with payments, like a fake document that is coming through your AP solution. We can detect that, and through our statistical pattern recognition, we can detect atypical vendor invoice amounts as well. So there's just a number of different things that we are now able to detect, and it is now just part of the actual platform. There's a whole slew of different single sign-on, multi-factor authentication things that I could go into, but I really don't want to bore the audience with that, Jason. But really impactful, very worthwhile looking into. And as I said, it's something that is available now and available to all customers free of charge.
All right, great. Yeah, and that's probably something that our listeners can dive into with some of the other materials that we probably host on our site from Yooz, with videos or perhaps some ebooks or something like that, or clearly can get in touch with you about as well. And Trish, let me just bring you back in here, because you're such an interesting role at Innovia. You're often kind of that interface, I think of it anyway, as maybe an interface oftentimes between what your clients are needing and what sort of your team and your partners can deliver, kind of like some of these new features that Tim was just talking about. Anything else you would add about sort of what you're looking for when it comes to partnerships to really improve your clients' experiences overall?
Yeah, I think it's really, how you can help our clients. How do you solve their problems, right? We don't, like I said, we don't want just a vendor. We want somebody that we can work with, really work through the customer issues. We love when our partners have subject matter experts. Like, you look at Tim's background, right? He started out as an accountant, right? So he understands the system. And I think for us, that's really important, having partners that understand ERP and their product, right? Sometimes you call a company, it's just a salesperson that doesn't understand what an ERP is, right? That makes it much harder. So we love the partners that truly have those subject matter experts on their team and can really partner with us to help solve problems.
Yeah, Tim, anything else you'd add when it comes to sort of partnerships and how you like to kind of be part of them?
Yeah, I think Trish said it all. And it's really we're stronger together. I think if we do have the subject matter expertise, we can help customers solve very complex problems. And I think one of the key things that Trish had mentioned earlier is the fact that we are looking for partners that really do want to invest with us. And it's all about the investment of time, resources, energy to being able to support their customers' complex accounts payable automation problems.
All right, excellent. Can we talk about sort of looking ahead here? Tim, what do you have next in your plans or in your team's plans that our listeners might want to know about?
Yeah, so I think Trish will talk about the Innovia conference that is coming up, so I won't steal her thunder there. But we do have a webinar that is coming up that is hosted by myself, Jen Andreas, who is, if you don't know who Jen is, she's an awesome resource for she runs our channel program here at Yooz. And so it's myself and it's her. And then we are also going to be joined by Alistair Moore, who heads up our product marketing for the North America Yooz products. So it is a Microsoft Dynamics World webinar. So that is something that we're looking forward to. And we'll be able to talk about the various products and services and other new things. And especially considering we have Alistair, who's he's the guy that controls access to our product roadmap. And he's wonderful at explaining everything that is going to be happening on our product roadmap and really distilling it down to what the value is coming out for our customers. So hopefully that will go off without a hitch in the April timeframe.
Yeah, and we'll include a link to how to register for that. I think we'll have it in our calendar probably by the time this goes up as well. Trish, anything else you want to mention in terms of Innovia's plans?
We're actually excited to attend Directions North America this year, the big partner conference. So we'll get to see the Yooz team there and you, Jason. It's always a great spot for our team to learn what's coming out new with Business Central. And after that, we are going to have our Innovia customer conference in Indianapolis this year. We're really excited for that. We have a couple folks from Microsoft coming to speak. We have a lot of experts from our team. And we have almost 200 people registered at this point, which is fantastic. So we're really looking forward to that event as well.
Very good. Anything else either of you wanted to add before we wrapped up? I know I've certainly had a chance to learn a lot more about the relationship here and what both teams are up to. Tim, anything else you wanted to leave us with?
I don't know if there is much more I can say. I think I left it all out there in the field, if you want to use a sports analogy. We love working with Trish and the team. And I think the fact that we've been partnered for as long as we have really says a lot and is a testament to the strength of our partnership. And Trish said a lot of very nice things about us. And I think you'll come to find that they're all true. And we love working with our customers. Customers are paramount importance to us, as well as working with the channel and partners like Trish.
Awesome. And I just want to say thank you both for having me, and thanks for making this a podcast and not a video call, so I didn't have to turn my camera on a Friday.
Oh, yeah. When I got a chance to organize this podcast years ago, I said to myself, what would I like in a podcast? And it was not to be on video every time. So I can do that on other people's podcasts. I'm happy to, but yeah.
I always like to say I have a face made for radio, so I agree with that.
You have a good radio voice too, Tim. I love it. Perfect.
Well, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you both so much for joining. I hope I get a chance to say hello to both of you out there in the real world soon.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.
Thanks,
This has been another episode of the MSDW podcast. My thanks once again to Tim and Trish for being here. And this message from Yooz. To learn more about Yooz and their partner program, visit getyooz.com/partners. That's YOOZ. And if you'd like to discuss further, please reach out to Jennifer Andreas. That's jennifer.andreas@getyooz.com. We will add links in the show notes for both of those. And that's it for this episode. If you want to get in touch with me, you can send me an email, jason@msdynamicsworld.com. For all of our updates, please do follow us on LinkedIn. Until next time, this is MS Dynamics World, signing off.